Hey, what's up guys? Well, it's time for me to welcome you into my office to break down my newest day trading setup. I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to see exactly what I use day in and day out to trade the markets. And as always, please be sure if you have any comments or questions to leave them below. I'll definitely answer each and every one of them. I want to be sure that I'm helping you guys get set up in the way that you want for your trade station. So let's take a few minutes and we'll break down the newest additions to my trade setup. All right, guys, time to break down my newest trade station here. There's been a few changes, mainly in the computer that I have, which we'll talk about here shortly. But this is my setup that I use every single day that I'm here trading in the office. We'll talk about a traveling trading station in my next video, but for today, we're going to talk about my main trading setup that is here in my office. We'll just start from the top down. We'll start with the screens. You can see that I'm working with 6 screens here on a 6 monitor array. Now these are 27-inch monitors. You'll see that most monitors that are used on an array are probably anywhere from 21-inch to 23-inch. I choose the 27-inch, mainly because I essentially get 8 screens worth of screen real estate in 6. So I don't have to look as far across, I don't have to hook up 2 more monitors, and I can curve these 6 monitors in towards me while I'm standing, which we'll talk about my standing desk in a moment. But I can curve these in so I can get a cockpit-like feel. My eyes don't really have to move that much to see the information I'm looking for, which again, it all goes back to efficiency, especially when we're trying to day trade this momentum that happens out of the open of the markets. All right. So we've got 6 Asus 27-inch LED full HD screens that I use here on a daily basis. And notice that the finish on these screens are matte. All right, really important that the finish is matte and not gloss. Gloss finishes tend to put off a little bit of glare, especially if you've got an office where you have windows. That glare can create a lot of fatigue, a lot of eye fatigue, and even cause headaches. So I would definitely encourage, if you're looking to get new screens or you're trying to decide on screens, go the matte route. Okay, it's really important for the type of exposure our eyes are getting to these screens for several hours a day, that the finish is matte. It will really help with that fatigue that you might experience if you're using gloss. All right, so matte finish on the screens, all sitting on a 6 monitor array that supports these. Again, I can adjust these individually. I can even turn the monitor sideways if I want, if that's the viewing angle I choose. But I do like this angle here, the normal angle. It provides me plenty of viewing angle, plenty of ability to move around quick. But that is sitting on a very inexpensive 6 monitor array that, I'll leave all the links to all this stuff below so you guys can easily replicate my setup for yourself. All right, so that is the screens that we're working with. That's the hardware. As far as what I'm watching on these screens, we can break that down here too for you as well. So as you guys can see, the top row is going to be charting. So this is where all my charting is going to take place, is the top row of the screens. And over here on the top left is going to be all my market internals. So I'm going to be able to see what the market's doing. Are we moving up? Are we moving down? Is it choppy? What type of sentiment do we have in the market? And that's going to help me kind of get an idea on which type of trade I'm going to take for the day. All right, so market sentiment, all the different indices, and what's going on internally with the market. My top middle screen is probably one of the most important, or is definitely one of the most important. That's going to be the stocks that I'm trading for the day. All right, I usually have 2 stocks up on this screen with 2 different time frames on each. So I've got 2 stocks, 2 different time frames. I'm watching those very, very closely because those are likely the stocks that I'm going to trade, since they are the stocks at the top of my watch list. All right, so that's the top middle. The top right is going to be more of a backup trading screen. So let's say I have 3 or 4 stocks on the watch list, which is rare, but we're coming into earnings season, we start to see a little bit more action, and there probably will be more than 2 stocks on the watch list. So I usually pick the 2 I'm watching that have the most potential on my top middle, and then I put over on the top right the 2 stocks that I'm watching as a backup. All right, and I usually watch those on a little bit longer term time frames, 5, 10, 15, or 30-minute charts, depending on the type of movement we're having. And I just kind of keep those up in the event that my stocks that are on the top of my watch list don't end up working out or they're not really moving. I can quickly glance over to my right and see the stocks that I had on the backup watch list and then trade those if one of those is moving properly. All right, so sort of a backup trading screen that I keep up over there just to monitor some other action in the market in the event our stocks that we have on the top watch are not really working out. All right, so that's gonna comprise the top row. The bottom row is equally important in a sense in that the middle screen below is gonna be my broker. All right, now as you can see, this is pretty minimal on this screen, and there's a reason for that. I don't like to have several different windows and all different kinds of things on my broker window because I want to avoid being distracted. All right, we're watching these stocks out of the open. Most of the time, these things are moving fast. We've got to be really focused. We've got to be really risk averse. So I've got to be really focused on what's happening on the time and sales and level 2. And if I have other stuff going on around here, I'm probably not going to be as focused on that, and it's gonna be seen in the results of my trading. So I want to keep it very minimal. Just my broker right there, and those are linked to the top 2 stocks that I'm watching just above. So this stack right here is going to be the most important stack. I spend 90% of my time looking at screens, and that's where we're going to trade the stocks from. All right, so broker there, very minimal. Again, it's all in an effort of efficiency and profitability at the end of the day, right? So that is the middle screen. This screen over here, this runs all my broadcasting software. So as you guys know, we're running all the social channels on live broadcasts. We're doing broadcasts such as this and broadcasts to the chat rooms. And this software over here is that management software. So this is where I manage all the output of that, and it's somewhat demanding. So I've got to have it up at all times and make sure we're not going over the capacity the computer can handle. Obviously not something that most of you will need, but I do have it up watching it throughout the day to make sure that the broadcasts are 1, still live, that there's no lag, and 3, that they're clear and it's not putting too much demand on the computer. So that's going to be my monitoring screen for all the broadcasting that we do. And then this screen over here, my bottom left, this is going to be all of our chat rooms and our news. All right, and there's a reason I have it set up that way, because when I look over at the chat rooms and I'm monitoring our chat rooms, we have a couple different rooms running. We've got my room, the large cap room, we've got the small cap room, we've got the futures room, we've got our inner circle room. So we've got several different rooms running. You need to keep tabs on those rooms throughout the day, watching what students are doing, answering questions, talking about trades. Quite a bit of action is going on in our room. So we're monitoring that, and I'm also monitoring the news. So when you're arranging your screens, you want to try to group it in terms of priority, right? So if this screen and the information I'm looking over here is somewhat of high priority, I probably want to group something else over there that's high priority. All right, so high priority in the chat room, making sure we're attending to all the questions and members. Well, news is also high priority, right? So I want to be watching what the news is. So that means every time I'm glancing over at the chat room, I'm seeing a headline or seeing what the news is doing. Or every time I'm glancing over at the headlines, I'm probably seeing a post in the room. So I'm essentially increasing my efficiency there by looking at a high priority screen with information that's all coming in and being able to be processed, rather than looking at the chat room over here and the news over here. All right, so it all is in the effort to maintain that efficiency and not having to do above and beyond what you really need to in order to focus on the trading. So when you are setting up your screens, try to think about it in that regard. All right, and it will take some time to kind of arrange how you look at things and that sort of thing, but try to keep that in the back of your mind, that when you are arranging your screens, try to do it on a priority basis. All right, so I know this screen over here is not necessarily high priority. It does all the broadcasting. I can glance at this, every few minutes throughout the day, but there's nothing else over there that I need to look at. So that means 90% of my time is going to be from this over, right? These screens over. Like I said, this one up here, not necessarily high priority. It's a backup watch list. Right? It's a backup in case our main watch list doesn't work. So again, that kind of eliminates those 2 that I need to watch out of the open. So now I'm down to really 4, right? Really 4. These 2 I'm watching in sync with each other. So that's essentially I'm watching one monitor, and then these over here I'm just glancing back and forth. And I'm standing So it makes it really efficient. I really don't have to do that much movement to process that information. All right, so that's a screen layout we have. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Again, not too cluttered, but enough information up there to make quick decisions. All right, so that is the screen layout. Next thing we'll talk about is I do have a backup computer here. This is a Lenovo Legion series. This actually is the computer that I use in my traveling trading station that I connect 2 side monitors to that I'll do in a separate video. We'll talk about my traveling trade station on the next video that I make, but I do keep this here on my desk every day. If I have my emails up, or really the main reason I have it here is that if I lose internet on my hardwired setup here, my computer station in my office, I can jump on a different network on my Wi-Fi and be able to bring up my broker platform as well as charting to manage a trade or get out of a trade if I need to. So I have 2 sources of internet, one hardwired. I also have a totally separate line that is Wi-Fi, so it gives me options of switching back and forth between networks. In the event one is down, one is not working properly, one is overloaded for some reason, I like to have that backup there in the event that I'm in a trade and I need to exit quickly. All right, so it's just a backup system that I use. I like to have that here accessible in the event that happens. It's rare, but I do keep it up. It has happened, and I'm sure it'll happen again at some point in the future. So that computer I keep on my desk, which takes us to the desk. Now, this is probably something that you may have not seen before, or you may not be familiar with. This is actually a standing desk. It's fully remote capable. I can go up or down with a push of the button. I can also set preset settings with the different levels I like. So for instance, I have a level that I press when I'm sitting. I also have a level that I press when I'm standing. It automatically goes to that level when I press the preset button. Now, what I will say about a standing desk is they're not necessarily cheap, but what you gain for it in the focus factor is pretty incredible. If you haven't tried standing while you're trading, I would highly encourage you do so. It really brings another level of focus to what you're doing as opposed to sitting down. I feel much more awake. I know for a fact I'm much more focused, and I feel much more in the zone and involved when I'm standing close to the screens, looking at them real quickly left and right, rather than kind of sitting in a chair. You know, sometimes that can promote sort of you being tired, you're not really being all there or focused. So standing really brings another level of focus that will definitely help improve your trading results. You'll be more on top of it. I feel that I'm much more risk averse when I'm standing as opposed to when I'm sitting. So it really helps with my risk management when I'm standing. And I would definitely encourage you guys to look into that. Now this is a relatively basic model. You can get pretty crazy with these different shapes and that sort of thing, but this is a pretty basic model in that it just has the weight capacity that I need and provides me with the preset settings that I can use when I need to stand or when I choose to sit, which I do stand for about the first 2 hours of the day. And then while I'm doing work in the afternoons, I will tend to sit down through those mentor sessions or different meetings we may have. But definitely trading, I'm standing. You can bet that pretty much every time that I'm trading, I'm standing. All right, it's really remarkable what kind of focus you can gain from doing that. And again, I would tell you that if you haven't tried it, definitely try it because it's sure to help you with your results. All right, standing desk. This is made by Uplift. I will put the link below for this as well. Again, you can order this up pretty quickly and set it up for yourself, really easy to do. And again, it's a nice, simple option opposed to a sitting desk. All right, so that's the desk. Next thing we'll move to, which you can't see at the moment, is my computer. Now, this thing is it's an absolute beast. It's really incredible what this thing can do. It is a Falcon F1 series computer. It's all liquid cooled. It's got top of the line everything in it, the latest software and hardware. It's incredibly fast. One thing that I was dealing with when I started trading is I was always maxing out my computer, right? Because I was always adding monitors, or I was always adding another program or more charts, which is really demanding. And my computer just never could keep up with it. It was always lagging or freezing, shut down, restart. There's always issues that I was experiencing with that, and I finally I made the investment into a really high-end computer, and I can't tell you how important that is for what we're doing here, especially some of the broadcasting that we're doing that's pretty demanding. But as far as the charting, the software is concerned that we're running, the ability of this Falcon computer is just amazing. And I would buy another one tomorrow. Their customer support is really great, and they just provide an exceptional level of quality in what they're building. And again, no issues with this thing. It's really, really incredible. Super fast. And this thing actually has the ability to put up to 16 monitors, individual monitors on it, which I don't plan to do anytime in the near future, but I will probably add another 2 screens here soon, which I'll do another update when that comes. But again, Falcon computers, really amazing. That's what I'm using here, and it's been nothing short of phenomenal. So that's my computer. Again, I'll put the link to that below. Definitely an investment. It is pricey. I think it was about $7,000, but again, that will last for quite a long time, and easily you see the return on that in a relatively short period of time when you're able to execute these extremely fast trades throughout the days in the market. All right, so that's going to be the setup. My chair over here is really nice to have. I use it probably about a quarter to a third of the day when I do actually sit. One really nice thing about that is that it's all mesh, so it keeps really cool. I'm here in South Florida, so it's obviously hot most of the time, and it's nice to have a chair that's keeps cool, really adjustable any way that you want. If you've got any sort of back issue or whatnot, that thing will solve the problem as I did. It's a really great adjustable chair. Again, I'll put the link to that below as well. But again, what I would tell you guys from the takeaway from this setup is make sure you have a very capable computer, and get looking into a standing desk if you don't have one already. All right, so that's my newest update to the trading station. Stay tuned, guys, and we'll do an update to the traveling trading station coming next. But please be sure to leave your comments below. I'm happy to answer any questions or comments you may have. I want to help you guys get set up properly for your trading station. So everyone, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in our next video. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the videos. I'll continue to make sure that all of the watch lists as well as the recaps are available to all of you. Make sure you subscribe to keep up to date on what's hot and what's not in the market.